this the beginning of the end for Mikel Arteta? Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to centre around this man right here, Arsenal head coach Mikel Arteta, who in the aftermath of yesterday's 1-1 draw with Manchester United seemed extremely rattled when Sky Sports brought up the question in his post-match interview in regards to the title race. Declan Rice and David Raya together performed incredible heroics to rescue a point for Arsenal against Manchester United at Old Trafford yesterday, leaving the Gunners 15 points behind league leaders Liverpool in what is now seemingly even more unlikely that they are going to capitalise on any sort of potential major capitulation from the Reds in order for Arsenal to maybe capitalise and go on and win Premier League glory. That seemingly is out the window now. It seemingly all rests on the Champions League in terms of what silverware could be on the cards for Arsenal this season, and even then it does seem unlikely. And in the aftermath of yesterday's result, this man right here was seemingly very rattled when Sky Sports brought up the question of the title race. We're going to be talking about whether this is the beginning of the end for Mikel Arteta. Why is he so rattled? Who is to blame at Arsenal for what has been a missed opportunity of a season? But before we get into all of that and much more, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, that I'm sure will make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. Use and abuse that section, people. Talk to me on this because it's a very intriguing topic. And without further ado, we will get on with the video. Let's talk Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club. Yesterday, the heroics of David Raya and Declan Rice were on full display as Arsenal managed to record a 1-1 draw with Manchester United. Another missed opportunity, and I guess you could title Arsenal's season as a missed opportunity, considering that their chances of Premier League glory have once again slipped through their fingers. Liverpool have leapfrogged both them and Manchester City and are seemingly ever closer to recording another Premier League title to their collection. It seemingly is only a matter of time before that status is confirmed and made official. But it is a missed opportunity for Arsenal. Yesterday's result was actually a very good performance by Manchester United. And they were actually very unfortunate maybe not to have won the game considering the chances that they actually did have. And like I say, if it wasn't for David Raya, United probably would have gone on to win the game. An excellent equaliser from Declan Rice also helped Mikel Arteta's side rescue a point. What I am going to say though is I'm going to talk about the aftermath, the post-match interview that Sky Sports conducted on Mikel Arteta, in which he seemingly was annoyed, he was embarrassed, he was above all rattled by the question yesterday. He actually tried to walk out before the question was even asked of him, before the reporter kind of pulled him back for one more question. He mentioned the title race, he mentioned the 15-point gap that is now between themselves and Liverpool. And what happened was Arteta stormed out. Incredible scenes. And I've talked about this before with Arteta. I've seemingly said that the pressure is getting to him. I've seemingly said before that he seems rattled. He's making excuses. He's seemingly becoming this arrogant figure at Arsenal right now. But I think it's becoming a massive problem. He talked about in the Carabao Cup defeat about how the ball is different. That is one hell of a stupid and weird excuse for me, in which he should have gone about it in a different way. He talks about how injuries and red cards have disrupted Arsenal's season this year, and that no other manager and no other club could have done exactly what he has done this season, given those types of cards that he's been dealt to play with, even though it's been proven that other teams have injuries, other teams have had red cards before, other teams have had a combination of the two and still managed to do some really good things in previous years. And even this season, I guess you could say, with the likes of Tottenham obviously suffering major injuries, Bournemouth suffering with major injuries and seemingly on the verge of European football this year. Obviously, Forest being a success story as well and are on the verge of maybe even Champions League football for them. So again, other injuries that are seemingly arrogant, and he's seemingly suggesting that this is not on him. We should not be blaming the great Mikel Arteta, even though he's only got 1 FA Cup and 2 Community Shields, even if you want to include the Community Shields to his silverware collection whilst being Arsenal manager. Now, yesterday, he stormed out. He was rattled. He was annoyed. He didn't give an answer on the Premier League title race, conceding it. He said a few weeks ago that he would be conceding it over his dead body, and he seemingly is eating his words, rattled by the occasion, and he is on the verge of maybe even completing a three-peat in terms of a third in a row second place finish. And even then, second place might be in jeopardy if Nottingham Forest continue to perform how they have been doing this season. Maybe Arsenal should be looking over their shoulder. They are, in fact, closer to the likes of Fulham down in 10th than they are to the place above them in Liverpool, who are first. So there are incredible scenes there in the Premier League. I'm not buying, and I haven't bought into this narrative that Arsenal fans have been pushing, that the league quality is poor, that Liverpool have basically walked a very poor league title. Because at the end of the day, I don't see what any of these excuses that Arsenal fans have been peddling out this season have anything to do with Liverpool. I think Liverpool have gone about their business in a beautiful way. I think they've gone about their business in a brilliant way. They just handled their business. They've shown no signs of pressure, no signs of anything getting under their skin. They've just handled their business. They've got the results when they matter most, even when they haven't been performing well. They have taken everything in their stride, even with certain bad referee calls, certain injuries that have occurred. They've made no excuses, no bones about it. Fans have, I will admit, fans have obviously called these things out, but fans are, I think, entitled to do so. The players have to just get on with it. I think the fans can do so. I'd say the only time that you really saw Liverpool lose their cool a little bit was obviously the Merseyside derby a month or so ago. That was the only time I really remember seeing Liverpool lose their cool a little bit, but then they bounced right back. And they were, and they seemingly brushed it off as nothing, as a nothing occurrence. Arsenal haven't been like that. Arsenal haven't handled their business. Arsenal have made excuse after excuse. Arsenal have been rattled by everything this season, and a large number of it is down to the club, because I can understand, because everybody has to take responsibility for this, in my opinion. Arsenal didn't do enough in the summer or winter transfer windows. I think that's obvious. I think we can all admit that. They didn't buy a striker who is ice cold in front of goal. They didn't buy a winger who is both creative and could goal score, but instead they bought a defender and a CDM. That is basically all they brought, even though they knew for a fact that they needed a prolific goal scorer in their ranks, because Kai Havertz wasn't it. And if you want to know why we know that, it's because at the end of the Bayern Munich game last season, when Arsenal got knocked out of the Champions League, Arteta admitted that he doesn't have a striker who is 25 to 30 goals a season. He knew that, but yet he decided to blow all of his budget, or most of his budget at least, on a defender and a midfielder. That's on you, mate. That's on you. That is on your board. That is on your club. That is mismanagement. And that's what it has been this season. Mismanagement from everybody involved. You can argue maybe the squad isn't good enough. Fine. But I think it's mismanagement on a manager and a head coach who has been there for about 5 years now, and yet his squad still isn't good enough to win a Premier League title, and has seemingly declined in recent years. The football and the entertainment side, in my opinion, has declined. I've not been entertained or impressed by Arsenal for about a year now. I think the level of football that they've been playing has been somewhat on the decline. I'll also say that the way that Arsenal set up has been somewhat negative in certain aspects. I understand that certain games offer certain situations, certain scenarios, but I would say that Arteta's declined. I'd say the club has declined. I'd say that they've not bought well in certain areas. I think the squad still lacks in terms of quality and depth in certain areas. And I am not buying any of these excuses that keep on being peddled out by fans of, well, injuries, well, red cards, well, VAR errors, and other kind of ridiculous nonsense like that. Injuries happen to everybody. We've seen it all season. We've seen it for most seasons gone by. Injuries occur. You're meant to deal with it. That's why you build a squad. But your squad isn't obviously built well enough if you're complaining that 2 or 3 main player injuries have disrupted your season. Okay, Bukayo Saka. Unfortunate, yes. But we all saw his injury coming because last season and the season before and the season before, he was pretty much playing every single game whilst hobbling out of every single game. We all saw that injury coming. We all saw it coming. Kai Havertz missing plenty of opportunities before he eventually got injured. And then his backup is Gabriel Jesus. 2 strikers who, if they're not firing on all cylinders, aren't exactly the best of backups for each other. So, again, squad not built correctly in certain specific areas. Martin Odegaard missed several games at the beginning of the season. Guess what? Ever since he's been back, he's ghosted ever since. I'm not buying any of this, in all honesty. I'm not buying the level of complaint from Arsenal in terms of the squad, in terms of referees, in terms of injuries, in terms of VAR conspiracies and all the things like that, and red cards. Because at the end of the day, apart from the Miles Lewis-Skelly one, I think the rest of them are actually pretty valid, in all honesty. But here we are with an Arsenal fan base that are seemingly mostly behind this man. And even from the outside looking in, I have to question why. I have to question why on this. I don't get this cult-like mentality of what Mikel Arteta's stranglehold is over this club. I really don't. Is it Arsenal fans choosing to blind themselves over this working, wanting to work? I don't get it, because I seriously just don't get it. I don't get how this guy is such a cult-like figure that he had the likes of he had an Arsenal legend in Thierry Henry become a villain this week in the eyes of certain Arsenal fans, just from the way he spoke out about Arsenal and about Arteta this week. How do you turn against a legend of the club in Thierry Henry, who was basically speaking facts and was actually backed up by yesterday's performance? How is it that this guy goes into every interview and press conference, with the exception of yesterday, and has this little line or quote or phrase or word that he will use that will suddenly captivate the majority of the Arsenal fan base for them to be on his side? This is such a weird cult-like following for me that it seemingly is going to take an extreme moment, or a number of extreme moments, for the Arsenal fan base to turn on this guy. Now, I'm not saying that you should, that whether you're Arteta in or you're Arteta out, it doesn't really matter to me. Obviously, I think Arteta in, because I don't think he's ever going to get you across the finish line for any sort of major glory. So, as far as a rival fan's point of view and a Liverpool fan's point of view goes, keep him. Very much keep the guy in the job. But if I am to be neutral, if I am to be fair and honest in this moment, there are potential upgrades out there. Simeone, Ancelotti, maybe even Inzaghi at Inter. He'd love this squad. It's full of defenders. He'd love that. I just think that there are upgrades out there. I can understand why you would keep him in certain aspects, but to blindly follow this man, even though it's clear as day he is rattled, even though it's clear as day he is seemingly fully aware of this cult-like following that he has built up at Arsenal in recent years? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't get this from the outside looking in. But hey, that just may be me. That may just be me from the outside looking in. Obviously, you guys may have a lot more insight into this than what I do. But yeah, it does seem very strange to me that this guy has got this cult-like following, and Arsenal fans are constantly peddling out these excuses of injuries, red cards, and all of that stuff. Yes, they are contributing factors, but they are minor in comparison to a squad that has been poorly built despite having a lot of money thrown at it during Arteta's time, and Arteta himself seemingly becoming overly emotional, completely rattled, and the pressure getting under his skin. These are the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever they call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club in this situation and scenario? Is this just them hitting the final nail in the Premier League title race coffin for themselves? Do they have any chance of maybe winning Europe, winning Champions League, sorry? In my opinion, they don't. But I'd love to know what you guys have to say on Arteta, on Arsenal. Is this cult-like following of Arteta weird? Is the beginning of the end occurring right now for Mikel Arteta at Arsenal? Do you think he'll ever be able to ever get them across the finish line in terms of winning major success at the club? Let me know what you guys think and feel about all of this stuff and much more down below in the comment section. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see you and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.